Hello everyone, this is SB62, and I'm here to talk to you about the South Park 201 controversy. In case you don't know about this, let me just explain it for you. A couple of weeks ago, South Park aired their 200th episode, and in that episode, one of the characters was Muhammad, the Muslim prophet. They didn't actually show him. He was censored by... First, it was just a black bar that said censored on it. Then it was he was in a U-Haul truck, and then he was in a bear suit. And they didn't make fun of him at all. In fact, they actually talked about his ability to not be made fun of. They did not insult Muhammad in any way. But 1 week later, it was a 2-part episode, and 1 week later they aired the second part. And in that part, Muhammad was bleeped out. Because in the first episode, they were all paranoid about, how they were afraid that if they revealed Muhammad, or offended Muhammad, the Muslims would bomb them. And in this episode, they bleeped it out. So I thought that was like a joke, how now they're even afraid to say the word Muhammad, so they bleep it out. And at the end, they bleeped out Kyle's speech. Kyle always has speech at the end. And they bleeped that out, too. And I thought that was some kind of joke. But the next day, I was on SouthParkStudios.com. And Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators, had made, an announcement about the episode. They did not add the bleeps into the episode. Comedy Central bleeped out Muhammad and Kyle's final speech. Because supposedly, Matt and Trey were receiving death threats from the Muslims. I don't know if this is true or not. I've just heard from various sources. But Comedy Central was apparently scared, and so they decided to bleep out the word Muhammad. And according to Matt and Trey, Kyle's final speech was about fear and intimidation, and didn't mention Muhammad at all. And Jesus talked too, and they bleeped that out. And then Santa Claus talked as well, and they bleeped that out too. I'm just wondering, why? I mean, they're that scared of the Muslims? Not all Muslims are terrorists. That's kind of offensive. I mean, a small percentage of the Muslim population are terrorists, not all of them. I mean, it might be a different story, if Matt and Trey actually did receive death threats, then maybe that's a little steep. Comedy Central might have an argument there, but still, they had an episode about this of South Park 2. It was a 2-parter. Maybe you saw it, Cartoon Wars, where Family Guy in the show was gonna show Muhammad in one of their episodes, and the Muslims were getting really offended, and they said they would retaliate if they did show Muhammad. And everyone was scared out of their minds because they thought they were gonna get bombed. But Kyle convinced them to air the episode because we need to preserve America's free speech, Sure, South Park is pretty vulgar, and, definitely it's offensive sometimes, and should not be watched by smaller children, but it does have, those meaningful messages sometimes. And, preserving America's free speech, I mean, we're Americans. We can say whatever we want on TV. Except, if it's really not allowed. And Comedy Central really takes advantage of that. I'm surprised at Comedy Central. They never bleep anything out unless it's really not allowed on TV. like the F-bomb or something. Like that's the only thing they ever bleep out. I mean, also, why are they scared of the Muslims getting mad? I mean, first of all, a small amount of them are terrorists, alright? But, like the Muslims, are the only ones that have ever gotten mad at South Park. Newsflash, South Park makes fun of everybody. I mean, everybody. Christians, Muslims, they don't really make fun of Muslims a lot. Buddhists, Jews, almost every episode. They make fun of every race, too, except for white. Maybe they make fun of white, I don't know. They make fun of Canadians, they make fun of French people, they make fun of British people, they make fun of Asian people, they make fun of Democrats, they make fun of Republicans, they make fun of men, they make fun of women, they make fun of everybody. Except for, they make fun of, like, every celebrity. You know? Like, no celebrity is immune to being made fun of by South Park. Or any religious symbol. Except for Muhammad. They didn't make fun of Muhammad. They just brought him onto the show. I mean, have you seen what they do to Jesus? Come on, they make fun of Jesus all the time. Sure, I'm pretty sure some Christians get mad, but it doesn't stop Comedy Central from bleeping out Jesus. I mean, they didn't even make fun of Muhammad. The Muslims are a little touchy about that, you know? But the Muslims just say that you can't show an image of Muhammad. And they didn't show an image of Muhammad, so why get mad? And plus, there is actually one episode of South Park where they did show an image of Muhammad back in, like, season 5. Why didn't they get mad then? I mean, I just really kind of don't get it. You know, not all Muslims are terrorists. They're not gonna bomb you for saying the word Muhammad. And now the episode is not even available on SouthParkStudios.com, the official website. And I mean, I just don't want to see this lead to, like, a big fight between Matt and Trey and Comedy Central. I mean, because their contract is up at the end of the 15th season, and if Comedy Central is mad at the creators, they could refuse to renew it. I would just, like, hate to see South Park end over something like this. I mean, it's very doubtful that South Park will end over this, because South Park is, like, one of their best shows, you know, one of their most popular shows, highest grossing. Because if it weren't, they probably would have just cut the 201st episode instead of just bleeping out Muhammad. If it wasn't a very good show, they would have cut it. I mean, I don't, if they're not, like, letting them show it on TV again for a while, or show it on the website, I don't know what they're gonna do when it's time to release the season 14 box set, but I mean, I just don't know what's gonna come out of all this. I mean, Matt and Trey are pretty mad that the episode got bleeped, and a lot of people are wondering why they bleeped out the speech about fear and intimidation that didn't mention Muhammad. And I'll tell you why. Because they don't want to seem like hypocrites. They gave in to fear and intimidation when they pulled the episode because the Muslims got mad. And they didn't want to seem like a hypocrite by doing that, and then in the same exact episode, having a kid talk about how you shouldn't give in to fear and intimidation. I mean, I don't know. Matt and Trey said that they're going to put on a totally different episode on a totally different subject next week, and they'll see what happens. We'll just have to see what comes out of this. But I'm disappointed at you, Comedy Central. You never done anything like this. Kind of surprising. SB Fanatic 62 signing off.